In this episode of my how-to series, we're going to look at how to expand your power column with a particular action step that changes your self-concept in the moment. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and we'll get back to you personally. And finally, you can join my weekly group membership meetings, reserve your place in one of my seminars, or purchase any of my mind-body guides, also known as the PDFs, at www.crushingdoubt.org. Now, without further ado, let's look at one way you can start to expand your power today. In the column system, the work all flows towards living in the power column. Why is that? Because the work of the emotion and doubt columns are to get symptoms under control, whereas in the power column, the goal is to receive their message and change the way we live. Each column has its core principles and the basic work of each column laid out. If you're not sure what I mean, consider going to my website, www.crushingdoubt.org, and signing up for a seminar. It will give you the basics of each column, how to think about my system, and how to begin building your system within my system, as I like to say. But once you have these basics down, you get to expand all three columns to their full potential. Well, today, we're going to talk about another way to expand your power column to its full potential. Early on in the podcast episodes, I did an episode on needing to dream things before they become reality. What I'm going to show you today has a similar flavor to it, but it gets more specific in the work of the power column. So much of the time, people want to know, how? How do I do it? Just as you must dream something before you can make it a reality, there is a corollary that is equally important that I'll get to in a minute. But let's start with this. To make something a reality, you not only have to dream it first, but you have to come to believe that it is achievable. Every time you take a step forward in believing your vision, you're making progress. One of the best examples I can give you came from the process of my writing my book. I knew I was seeing some things in the mind-body experience that were different than what I was seeing represented in the readings I was doing. At first, it came as a shock. I knew I was smart, had some great talent, and could do some good work in the world, but it never occurred to me, until I discovered Dr. Sarno, that I could do more. But here I was, recognizing that I had something to say and that it could be very useful to many, many people. I was talking to a friend on New Year's Eve in, I believe, 2012, and I said, someday I'm going to write a book on all of this. My friend Chuck said, "What do you mean someday?" I got the message immediately, and that's when I began writing the book, the very next day. This was a step forward in belief. I had several other steps forward, but one of the most important ones was in actually saying out loud to people in my professional world what I was up to. Because what I was about to write would be a big departure from what they all thought, and from what I had been taught in psychology in many ways. It felt like telling people I had been abducted by aliens, but I knew what I knew, so I fought through that strange and uncomfortable feeling. Once I had that under my belt, my belief that I actually would write this book became stronger. I hadn't conceived of the columns at the time, let alone a specific power column, but knowing what I know now, I was expanding my power column. Every day, you have opportunities to do this. But I want to show you one simple method that can help you around a lot of troublesome spots on your path to being the most powerful you can be. This is the corollary to which I referred. One thing you must learn to do, and this comes after making a clear decision to stay determined and achieve your goal, is to start interacting with yourself around the issue not just as if you are going to do what you set out to do, but as if you already have. I have been interacting with people for years, not as someone who is going to be a published author, but as someone who already is a published author. Because the thing is, I knew I was going to do it. There was absolutely no question. I was determined and doing the work, and it was good. So why wouldn't I want to treat myself like a published author when I knew that's right where I was headed? In the power column, we get to make internal decisions that no one else can control. That includes how we are going to think about ourselves. Be the powerful you before you get there. If you know you're going to do it, live as if you already have. Many of the greatest achievements in human history began with this attitude. Michael Jordan believed he was the best basketball player in history before he proved it. In fact, he became that good because he already thought he was that good. Martin Luther King didn't just have a dream, he had a vision. And he walked that walk during his life before it was achieved. He walked it, though, as if it was a foregone conclusion. It's true in every field and interest we can think of: music, science, writing, art, leadership, and more. You can achieve your goals just by dreaming of them and putting in the hard work to enact them. But you can also be powerful in enacting those goals if you treat yourself like the person who already did. This can help you give yourself the respect you deserve without it being so results-oriented. And you all know I love to use process-oriented thinking as an action step to make progress. Dream as far as the dreams will take you, but learn to live in the power column as if they have already happened, and you'll get to start living the dream today. I really hope you enjoyed this episode on expanding your power through changed beliefs in the moment. If you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below and we'll get back to you personally.